Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Lebanon Mayor Gary Crenshaw for an update on some of the stuff going on with the city of Lebanon. You've been traveling quite a bit for work recently, right?
Yeah, I am part of a leadership training team for USDA, and we're training all of our supervisors in the nation. And so last week I was in Milwaukee, and next week I'll be in Phoenix, and then I'm off for a while, and we'll do that again in September. But
so you're traveling with the USDA, and the USDA was here in Marion County last week for the kickoff for their summer feeding program down at Calvary Elementary.
Yeah, there's several programs within USDA for lunches for kids, and then the summer kickoff program, and meals for kids, and there's any number of those that they do, and it's a very good cause, and it's something USDA does very well.
So a lot of people have been noticing as they drive down Main Street, there's an empty spot now on the side of the street there that seems going to be filled by a new City Hall, right?
Yeah, there's a big hole there. As most of the residents know, the old branch building that's been there forever, I think it was built in 1927 or 1932, somewhere around that era. And we purchased that building earlier in the year along with the old carriage and implement company building, and then 3 houses on Mulberry Street in preparation for building a new City Hall, and we're quite excited about it. So
the lot's been cleared from all those different buildings, right? So what's the process now and the time frame for this new building?
The City Council approved the design at the last City Council meeting, and I think most residents will find it a very beautiful building. It complements the other recent additions to the downtown area, and the Judicial Center and the Hergen building won't be anywhere near as big as those, obviously. We've got the design down pretty much. The architects now are pricing everything out, the materials, everything that goes into a building, and we will be ready to go to bid sometime. I'm really hoping sometime in August or September. I'd like for it to be earlier than that, but I just don't think they can do that. And plus there's some other things. We've got to get some measurements on the ground out there now and figure out how the building is actually going to fit in there. We know it architecturally, and we know it by photographs that we've got, but actually getting out there and taking measurements, that'll take a little while. And hopefully construction will start later in the fall.
Now, I think a few months ago when you were talking about the building, it's going to have 2 levels, so you can enter from either Mulberry or from
Actually,
Main, is that right, or not?
The building will be 2 levels with an entrance on the lower level only.
Okay.
And I know it's hard to picture when you're talking about it, but as you're on Mulberry Street looking at the building, the upstairs is going to be the council chambers and the office of our building inspector with all the files that they have to keep. And there will be a small conference room in the upstairs with next to the council chamber. And the front of the building, as you're on Main Street, we will set the building up just a little bit. It won't, and we're going to do that so we can make up for the difference in the elevation in the back and in the front. We're going to set it up a little bit so that the building is not actually sitting in the ground in the back. So there'll be some space between the back of the building, and it'll slowly curve up or slope up to a parking lot in the back and on the side.
Okay.
And it's going to be a very beautiful building, one of the residents will be very proud of, and it'll be a building there for several generations.
So parking off of Mulberry, but entrance off of Main.
Actually, you can enter off of Mulberry, you can exit off of Mulberry, you can enter off of Main, and you can exit off of Main.
Okay.
And there will be some parking on the side of the building and in the back of the building. And when I say on the side of the building, it'll be on the side that's closest to downtown.
Right.
And the building will sit fairly close to the wall that's there now, where the old brick home is sitting there.
So what did you say was the anticipated or hoped date to actually be in the building?
In the building, it'll be, I'd like to say next fall, but it might be later.
Wait till see how the plans all lay out.
When I say next fall, I'm talking about a year from next fall.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. In 2017.
Right.
Fall 2017. So what will happen with this building? We're currently in the current City Hall building.
This building, the water company is presently looking at adding on some space, or utilizing this space in some shape. If they decide that they're not going to, and I think they will, they haven't told me that, but I know they're discussing it. If they don't, we'll do something else with it. We'll lease it out, we'll rent it out, we'll do whatever we can.
Because they already have half the building anyway.
Right.
Right. And you said that the building inspector is going to be moving in there as well. So he's currently across the street.
Right. He's across the street, and I don't know how many people has gone into John Thompson's office, but he has a little office there, and then in the back he has storage for all the maps and the plats and everything, and we have to keep those. Mm-hmm. And so he actually needs a place for storage of all of those because we're required by law to keep them. And they're supposed to be on file here. And the other thing is he needs a work area where that when companies, home builders, business people come in and want to talk about the buildings that they're proposing, they need a work area to lay all that stuff out. So he will have sufficient space upstairs to do that.
Okay. So we'll keep you up to date on the progress that goes on for that.
You'll probably, once the construction starts, you'll probably know as much about it as I do.
You can just drive by and see it.
Right.
Now, also, there's another construction project seems going on down on the Proctor Knot, right by the park. There's a big wall that has gone up down there. Can you tell us a little about the history of that?
For years, we have wanted to put a sidewalk on that side of the street. And the main reason for that is it is somewhat dangerous to be walking out to the park on the current sidewalk and then have to cross where that big curve is. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes hard to see around it, especially if there's traffic going both ways. It's just a dangerous place. So we're bringing the sidewalk on that side of Proctor Knot, and not only that, it allows for more traffic visibility coming around that curve. We have priced doing that wall, doing something with that wall for a long time, and we were fortunate enough to get a grant, and I want to thank Representative Mills and Senator Higdon and the State Transportation Department and everybody else that helped us get that grant. And it's interesting, the Highway Department came back with a design that, was several $100,000. And so we just sent it back and said, well, we can't do that. Sent the design back. And so we worked, and then luckily we have the best public works department in the state. They can do anything, and so with the city's labor, a few design changes, we got that down by half, which the grant money is going to cover, the cost of doing the wall. So except for the city's labor and maybe just a few $1,000s, all of that's been paid for with grant money. So we're very tickled about that.
Fantastic.
And it's interesting. I think everybody in Marion County has come around that curve at one time or another, and you don't think much about it. But for some reason, you come around it now and it just looks pretty. You know, looks impressive. So,
is it complete?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to complete each end of the sidewalk. We've got to go across the entrance to the back side of the park and plug it into the sidewalk there at the park. And then we've got to put a railing up, you know, the black railing down near the railroad, where the railroad track used to be. We're going to match that across the top there in front of the first house there where the wall is.
Okay.
So skateboarders can't get up there and have a good time.
Yeah. Make it more safe.
Right.
So talking about sidewalks, are there some other sidewalk projects that you have going throughout the city as well?
Yeah. Just as soon as we get finished with the wall there on Proctor Knott, the water company has finished their reconstruction of lines on Woodlawn Avenue. And so pretty soon we're going to start with the sidewalk project up Woodlawn Avenue, because there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of walkers, there's a lot of kids that use that. Also, we're going to continue on out to the stoplight on the Perryville side of town. You know, we spent quite a bit of time working on that sidewalk 2 years ago, but we want to take it on out where that it can connect up with a safe way to walk back and forth to school. And then we are going to go from Wendy's, we're going to start out to Walmart with a sidewalk. Now, we won't take it all the way out there. We're going to stop somewhere short of the intersection, because while we can build the sidewalk out there, the cost of putting a sidewalk and a crossing and everything at that intersection is so costly that we just can't do it right now. Unless we get a grant, we can't do that, because it's a very busy intersection, it's a state highway, and it has to be done according to their specs, not ours, and it's just very costly. So I don't know how far we'll get with that, but we know that we need to put a sidewalk out to Walmart, because there's a lot of people that walk out there. So we want to do that.
Okay. And also, I think at this past city council meeting, you talked a little bit about a grant too that you were working on with housing, rehabbing some housing. Right.
If anybody watching, if they remember the Lincoln Heights, Lincoln Drive housing renovation project we did there, we got a grant. We went in, we rehabbed all those houses for the people that live there. Then we got this grant, and instead of being in one local area, these houses are spotted all over town. We didn't have to keep it in one area. And generally the way that works, the person that owns that house, we apportion a part of the grant to fix it up, rehab it, and all of that, and then they can't sell it or anything else for, I don't know, so many years. And there's a lot of requirements to it, but it's a really good thing. Really good thing.
To improve on some properties that need
right,
some assistance.
And in some areas where maybe somebody could never ever afford to fix up a house. You know, maybe they could own it, but they couldn't fix it up, and it makes the neighborhood, you know, look a lot better. So we're proud to be able to do that.
Now, how does somebody get their property into that program, or are they already chosen?
They have to make an application for it.
Okay.
And there was a notice put in the paper, I don't know, some months ago or weeks ago, I don't know when it was, asking for applications. And in order to apply, you have to meet certain criteria. And so, you know, people apply for it. And then there's a criteria selection committee, and they make those selections on where it's going to be.
For being part of that.
Right.
Okay. So that's some of the stuff going on with the city of Lebanon. Any other bits of information we need to share?
Well, I know it's awful dry, and we welcome everybody to go jump in the swimming pool and cool off.
That's right. You can go inside or out, right?
Well, they can go inside. I don't know if you'd have to go down the slide pool, and I've never done that yet. So,
So you'll stay in the inside pool.
but you know, Gary, right now things are going really well. We've just done our city budget. We passed it. We're going to have a reading of it tonight. Our second reading, first reading, I forget which, and we just got a lot of small things going on, and the city's moving ahead. And you know, I know it's hot, but you know the weather's kind of nice, and
Gives you an opportunity to enjoy all the walk to the park, maybe.
Right.
That's now safe. Or
right.
Sure.
But anyway, things are going well.
Good. Well, again, I've been talking with the City of Lebanon Mayor Gary Crenshaw. It's been Gary White on Central Kentucky Television.